Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we're going to do a little recap. I think that is needed for all of us in order to jump back in the depth of Divrei Ramban.
You lose.
So we're going to do it from a high level on based on the psukim, not on inside the pshat of the Ramban. And then we'll go in and out if needed. But so, and obviously we're going to touch only the pirush of the Ramban, not how he understands Rashi and the Ibn Ezra, etc. So Bereshit, the Ramban tells us the pshat apashut, the pshat of Bereshit is ba'atchala. That's the Ramban. Ba'atchala. Bara, created bara from the bria is yesh me'ayin, creation from nothing. Elohim, El Hem, the God of them, of all kochot, right? Baal kol kochot kulam, through the name Elohim, that is the source of all the strength, all the powers that are found in nature. So essentially, the name Elohim is the name that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose to create everything that has to do with physicality and physicality. Everything has to do with the creation of the world, right?
Just
Elohim.
here or every time it says Elohim?
Every time it says Elohim.
So it's always El Him.
Elohim from the word El Hem. El Shelaim. Alehem.
And Hem is
El, the God, Hem of them.
the physical world.
Yes.
Or the things that create
anything that you can, that Hem is them. Anything you can point out, anything that is identifiable, right, was created by the name Elohim.
I got it.
Et hashamayim, the earth, the heavens, ve'et haaretz, and the earth. Et, the Ramban told us, is inclusive. It's coming to include something that is not written, right? So it's all the dimension, okay, that are not specified in the word shamayim, but that are derivatives of shamayim. Ve'et haaretz.
What, like other universes?
Yes. Ve'et haaretz, and all the derivatives of what is that will come from Aretz. Now, what is Shamayim and what is Aretz? Right? The Ramban already told us that since we have the word bara, and bara means creation from nothing, it means that he created an element, a substance, a something, right, from nothing, that is the beginning and the source and the root of all the creations that are relative to Shamayim, to heavens, and all the creations that are relative to Aretz, to earth.
Mm-hmm.
Good? This is the Pshat HaPashut that the Ramban introduces to us. He addresses another dimension, which is the dimension of the Sirot, in the word Bereshit, where the bet, right? That's right. The bet has is referring to two bet Reshit, two beginnings, essentially, which is Reshit is called the Chokhmah, and Reshit is called Malchut, right? And the Chokhmah is the first Sephirah of the Mochin, of the Moach, of the brain, which is Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. We have on top of it what is called Keter, right? And then the Malchut is called also Reshit, like he brought from the Midrashim. So Bet Reshit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Chokhmah and a vessel for the Chokhmah to have a purpose and shower its essence into, which is the Malchut. A machloket, whether the bet itself is Keter, is the Keter the crown of in the sirot, or it's in the cuts of the bed, or if it's in this little spitz that goes again off the bed. So if you hold that the spitz is the keter, right? Then the bed is the consolidation, all right, from the gulgol, from the crown into the reshit. That's what gave birth to the reshit. But if we hold that the bed is the keter, and the bed looks like a keter, if you look at the bed, right, it sits like a crown on the word reshit, and that's essentially what the most of Mekubalim want to say. Then the spitz refers to the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu before the creation, right? The source of all. So the source of all, which is referred to Ein Sof, limitless, created the Keter in the Sfirat HaKeter, which is the bed, right? And that gave birth to Reshit, which is the Chokhmah. Good? And the Malchut. Good. That's Al Pi HaKadosh. So what we have in the Sfirot, in the spiritual worlds, okay, which are the channels that God will use, or created and will use to pour and shower his will, okay, from essentially his will to something we can relate to, and then turn into the creation, the way we know it at the end, right, is created in the word Bereshit, or at least the beginning of it. So in the word Bereshit, we have the crown of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is created, which is essentially referring to the Keter. So we have to give a definition to the Keter so that you can relate to the Keter, and then we'll talk about the Chokhmah. The Keter is referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ruling over the creation and his authority. Okay? Just like the crown, when you talk about the king, you talk about the crown, right? Even in England today, on behalf of the crown. Yeah, and that the crown represents the authority of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that there is nobody above, or nothing above the crown, above HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yes, for that reason, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the creation, in the pipeline, created the crown, so that we know that he is the crown, and there's nothing beyond and past that.
So the Keter represents him, in a sense?
His authority, that he is one and nobody comes before him. That's the purpose of the creation of the crown. Okay. Then, so that's the only purpose of the crown.
And the crown is the bed regardless. There's an agreement that
some wanted to say that the spitz on top of the bed is the crown. Okay, but according to the Ramban, the bed is, and most of the Pirushim, the bed is the crown, and the spitz is the Ein Sof, right? It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way we cannot understand, like infinite.
Can we understand crown?
The crown you can understand as an authority, yes, that he is the absolute power, and there's nothing that there's no authority above that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a king is right, a king is the authority on his people, and there's nothing above the king. There's nothing above HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And the crown only means anything
if there's like an correct,
right?
Absolutely, and melech belo am, there is no king without the people. So exactly. This is, if you will, the testimony of the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to create a world and have an interaction with the world. Essentially, that's authority, right? If you don't have a people, there's no authority. You can realize that.
That's a good point.
So the crown, okay, is created in the sfirot, in the pipe, in the spiritual pipeline, And then it gives birth to the chokhmah. The chokhmah essentially is the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay, that is now translated into what it will be called knowledge. Knowledge, it's information, it's anything that touches with the understanding of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will in the creation.
That's chokhmah.
That's chokhmah.
But we don't understand that.
So there is in no we
Shlomo HaMelech understood that.
to the highest level, yeah, but we do understand the Torah is chokhmah, the Teva is chokhmah, everything has chokhmah in it. How you tap into the chokhmah, it's a different story. But the chokhmah, if you will, is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to reveal of himself to the creation. And this is the furthest you can get to the understanding of Hashem.
What he wants, not what he reveals. What he wants.
What he wants to reveal. What his will. Yes. That's the will of his creation, yeah.
Who saw the most
Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe Rabbeinu, right?
Moshe Rabbeinu. And the chokhmah has in it what is called the tevuna. Tevuna is the discernment, okay, it's an ability that is given to the intellect to absorb the information that you learn, that you're exposed to the chokhmah, and be able to understand it in its original form before you distort it the way you think you understand it. That's called the tevuna. Okay? So the chokhmah is HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls the chokhmah, meaning he expresses, showers the world with chokhmah. So the chokhmah is essentially accessible to anybody. It all depends on how much you want to connect to the chokhmah. But the chokhmah is out there for you to connect. It's Hashem's expression of his will in a way you can relate to, you can connect to. That's the definition of the chokhmah. The tevuna is the ability for you to understand the chokhmah in its original form and essence. What?
So you can understand the chokhmah without being at the level of tevuna. Tevuna is a higher level of
no. Tevuna is a certification that the chokhmah that has been transmitted to you is original. You did not twist it. Because, for example, when we can read the pasuk and everybody will understand it different. Right? So the definition of the chokhmah.
You know my son Jacob?
For sure, no.
Say hello to Zach and Bobby.
Jacob, stay for the shoot.
I gotta run.
Thanks, Richard.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you. So the definition, so that's, so you understand? The tevuna is your ability, is a trait, okay, that gives you the ability to understand what you have been exposed to in terms of knowledge, or you have been taught from a third party, whatever that party is, right, in its original form, before you internalize it and turn it into something that's yours.
Understood, but I'm saying you can't understand the chokhmah without the tevuna. You need the tevuna.
No,
You cannot.
Tevuna is its purest form.
I understand.
At its purest form, you need the tevuna.
Right. But you can connect to the chokhmah.
You can connect to the chokhmah, but it will be distorted. Yes.
Okay. So today you have people connect in the level of tevuna?
Why not? We all have tevuna, for sure. For example, it's very simple. If you heard a shul, you learn the Malbim. If you're able to convey the Malbim in its original form, exactly what the Malbim means and says, not what you understand from the Malbim, that's using your tevuna in the chokhmah that the Malbim has shared with you.
But what is the chokhmah?
The chokhmah is the knowledge. Is what the Malbim says is the chokhmah in that essence. right? You being able to understand what he says perfectly, the way he wants to say it, is the tvuna.
Okay, but is that the same? Is that the same chokhmah that we're talking about that's created here? You're talking about the chokhmah of Kadosh Baruch Hu is different.
It's at the end, it's related to you. It comes down to each and every one of us. So that's the root of the chokhmah. But yes, that's the root of all chokhmah. But that's what chokhmah is.
Tuna is it's not one of this road. It's your character trait. It's your ability to say, yeah, that's the real. It's like your smell test. Like if someone tells you something, you say,
No,
that's not a smell test.
It's the other way around. The tuna is coming from.
First, you need to, like, for example, you read something,
yeah,
you're taught something before you start, twisting it around and asking questions. You have to make sure that you understood it correctly, right?
mm-hmm.
So making sure you understood it correctly, is the tvuna of the chokhmah. Tvuna of the chokhmah. Okay.
The question
it's a koach, because most people think they understand something, but they really didn't.
Your ability to hear something, understand it before you add.
Exactly.
But from who?
What do you mean from who?
But from who?
No, the trait is your
Your
trait.
Tevuna is really from Hashem, no?
That's a koach HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates. Yes, it's within the chokhmah, but it's born in the bina. Meaning the tvuna comes from the bina.
Yeah.
Okay, and the bina is the discernment, the power to discern. It's taking an information, breaking it down, right? Reorganize it the way you understand it, right? And then do whatever you need to do with it, which we'll get to, which is the dot. But
by definition, we could never have Tevuna.
Why not?
Because the person teaching us, if he doesn't have it, we can never have it.
Why do you say that?
Because you're learning from someone.
Nachon, correct. But you can definitely have it based on what he's teaching you. Forget about what he was taught. And when he's teaching you something.
But that's not Tevuna.
Yes, that's the power. Yes, it's Tevuna.
Not the information.
It's not the information. The process, exactly.
Oh, I thought it was the unprocessed, pure information that comes from Hashem. Not that comes from. No. It's a trait.
It's not a trait. Yes, it is. It's an intellectual trait. But at its origin, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Reshit, the Chokhmah, he created it with that tchuna, with that trait, which is in each and every one of us. Is we all have the Chokhmah, Bina, and Dat, okay, spiritually and intellectually. Right? So, and this gives us the ability, okay, to absorb information in its purest form before we
mess it up.
Not mess it up. Before you process it.
You just demonstrated the lack of Tuna. How long it took us to understand what you were saying.
Exactly. So that's Tevuna. Okay. Elokim, the Mekubalim want to say that it's the Bina. So now we have the Keter, we have the Chokhmah and the Malchut. We explained that the Malchut is only an ecosystem that allows all this to exist. Elokim is Bina. Okay? The Bina is the ability to discern, take information, break it down, understand from what has been said, new things, by what has not been said, new things, and reorganize all this information in your own way. It's very individual.
Would you say that's logic?
Also,
the power to deduce?
Yes. Yes, it's also logic. Yes.
So would that be if you have a mathematical equation and you just shuffle the numbers around? Is that because you know how to do the equation? Is that considered Bina?
No, not at all.
That's just not at that point?
Yes, you're just applying a formula. But if there is you asked a question, and from that question, you have to understand more of what's happening behind the scene in order to be able to answer, right? And you understand things that are not told to you from the way the question is asked. That's Bina. Now, within the Bina, the Tevuna is born, because the Tevuna is an extension of the Bina. But even though it's born in the Bina, the Chokhmah, which came before the Bina, right, has a chafifa with it, has a connection to it. And why do you need the Tevuna in the Bina, in the Chokhmah? Because it's through the Tevuna in the Chokhmah that you can now process with the Bina the proper information.
You good one?
Yeah, perfect.
And once you've processed that information, you have essentially a new information, right? You have a new chokhmah that's now yours, right? By consolidating what you have heard, of what you have been taught, with what you brought out on your own, and now finding how do I apply this in my life, right? How do I move on with this? That's called the da'at. So the da'at is the implementation, the intellectual implementation of the processing of information you have been taught.
Can you give an example of that?
Something practical.
Is it learning the mathematical formula, then sort of implementing it in different equations?
No, because that's no.
Is it me?
I learned about diabetes. Okay, I hear a class about diabetes. And in that class, it talks about what diabetes is, the type 1 and the type B and the type. Then I take all this information and I start processing it. So that means that the food that we eat that has in it sugar, right, will have a direct impact on the blood. My da'at will tell me, okay, how do I now use this information and apply it in my life in a way that I need to exercise to reduce the sugar. I need to make sure that the food that I eat has the good sugar, not the bad sugar.
Oh, got it.
And now, and I have to make sure that the calories are right, because there's maybe too much calories, so that spikes the sugar. And is it natural sugar or is it the added sugar? Okay. Now, how do I take all this information now, implement it in an actionable way with a purpose? It's the da'at.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Bereshit, so it's very important to understand that in that pasuk, Keter, Chokhmah, Malchut, and Bina are created. So 4 out of the 10 Sefirot are created in that pasuk.
How about that?
I'm sorry? No. Okay? If you count the Keter, then you cannot count the da'at. You have to count one or the other in the number of 10.
I got it. Right. One was excluded. I remember that.
Okay?
Okay.
Which means there are 6 left, which will be the 6 days of the creation that will be created. Are you going to tell me what about Shabbat?
About nothing.
Shabbat, nothing is created. Shabbat is the source that actually fuels all that system. So Yom Rishon, on day one, Yom, and we'll see that it's in the Ramban, but on Yom Rishon, on the day one, Chesed is created. Day two, Gevurah. Day three, Tiferet, etc., etc. Netzar Od Yesod. Okay? So on every day, essentially, every day has an essence of a sirah that shines on that day. So every Sunday, every day one, okay, that day gets its blessing, gets its abundance. The will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu showers through essentially a dominant sirah of that day, which is a chesed.
Until today.
Until today.
So-
Every Sunday, it's chesed. Every Monday, it's the gvura. That's why on Monday we read it's Sefer Torah. We read the Sefer Torah to appease the gvura.
Oh, it's Thursday?
No, it's Hod, which is also din. That's why also we read the Torah.
I think we should schedule a different day.
No, 1 second.
The basics of Kabbalah. Because
No, but I'm just giving. No, we're just recapping. Okay, things that the Ramban has said. I don't want to address it, or we said it agavuche, but he did speak about the sirot on the word Bereshit. That's the only reason why I'm addressing it. Right. So Shamayim is the hiyuli of, like we call, right, the creation of nothing from nothing of Shamayim, of heavens, et and everything that all its derivatives, and the hiyuli of Eretz with all its derivatives. That's what the et Hashamayim ve et haaretz.
And now let's include also the Shamayim as we know it. Yeah.
Yes.
Rabbi, just going back to one second. So Shabbat being what sustains it all is after the first week, Shabbat is what's giving the power to each day.
Yes.
So prior to that, it's Hashem's creation.
That's the creation. And then Shabbat basically becomes the Mekor HaBracha that showers everything through the day, for the days. Yeah.
Backwards or forward? Forward going.
Both. 3 from the past and 3 from the meaning Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we get it from the Shabbat that passed, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from the Shabbat that comes forward.
Okay. And this is again until today.
Yes, until today.
The system is still in place.
Until today, and you have to have kavanah every Wednesday, every month, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, I'm Moshe. I pull the bracha from the Shabbat that passed, right? Sunday, it's I'm taking the neshama of Shabbat. Monday, I'm taking the ruach of Shabbat that passed. That's why Tuesday, the nefesh of Shabbat that passed. Wednesday, I'm connecting to the nefesh of the Shabbat that's about to come. And Thursday, the ruach of the Shabbat that's about to come. Friday, the neshama of Shabbat that's about to come. And Shabbat is the neshama of the neshama, which is the source of that fuels all this.
It's a lot of work.
No, it's kavanot in the morning. That's all it is. At night and in the morning.
Kavanot.
That's what I just told you. When you do Arbit, this is the kavanah you have.
No, I just think.
And in the morning, that's the kavanah you have before Shacharit.
It's something else you say.
That's why we say Hayom Yom Echad, Hayom Yom Sheni Shabbat Kodesh. So where do we say that? Where do we refer to the Shabbat?
But that refers to the Shabbat.
Exactly.
Respectively.
No, of the Shabbat. Hayom Yom Rishon Be Shabbat. Right? It could be from
for the day, no?
Yes. So you more, but where do you get from which Shabbat do you get the beracha? So the first 3 days from the Shabbat, the he'ara, the light of the Shabbat that is still with us, that has passed, and that shines upon us for 3 days. And then because then the Shabbat that's about to come is already there and it's already shining, right? So I'm getting that light also moving forward. Okay. Ve'haaretz, pasuk bet. And now the earth, okay, the Ramban tells us that in this Ve'haaretz, it's including the 4 elements, right? Right? Ve'haaretz, it's including the fire, the wind, the water, and the earth, the 4 basic elements.
Yeah.
That's including the word Ve'haaretz, right? So the Haita tohu,
The first Aretz doesn't include them?
Uh,
The first Aretz doesn't.
the first Aretz refers to the creation of the Hiyuli. And it explained, and the Aretz, and that Hiyuli, Aita Tohu, it was the Hiyuli, Vavohu, and had in it a structure, right? And what are the structures that were in it? There's 4 elements that is in the word Haaretz. And what were the 4 elements? Chosher is the fire. Al pene tehom, that is on top of tehom. And we know that he explains that tehom is the mixture of earth and water. The ruach, which is the wind, Elohim merachevet al pene hamayim. Right? So we have the earth in tehom. We have the fire of Chosher. We have the ruach, which is the wind. And we have the mayim. And it's layers, right? So we have the tehom, which is the earth, right? We have the water. We have the ruach that's on top of it. And we have the esh that's above it.
And we have access to everything except the Esh. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Meaning everything is physical. The Ruach.
Even the esh you have access to. Why not?
Oh, isn't this the black fire?
This black fire. 1 second. 1 second. Yes. No. Yes. Well, yes. 1 second. So in terms of elements you're talking about. No, these elements are within every creation. Okay.
So these are not. This is not mine. We know.
No. It's the element of. The element of.
It's in one thing, one mass.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's all together. It's all together. Yes. Now, Choshech is the black fire, right? Okay. Teom, earth, is the element of earth. It's not the earth, but it's the element of earth. Ruach, here it says the Ramban. Why does it say Ruach Elohim? Say Ruach.
Because the weight of it.
Because it's so empty, there's so much nothing, right? The Ruach, the Avir is nothing, that in order to stick, it needs the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to stay there.
Where else would it go?
That's right. That's why it says Ruach Elohim. That's how the Ramban explained it. And on top of it, you have the Choshech, you have the fire. And and Milashon, Chashuch, right? Chashuch. It has darkness to it. It has darkness to it. Well, coming to explain that it's Chashur, it's dark, and not what? And not, like he said, Adom, like we know it, like reddish or bluish. Because if it was that color of fire, then the skies would be that color, right? If the fire that we're talking about was the red fire, then what's above the ozone, what we see as being dark at night, would be red. Remember, that's what he said.
Yes.
So, but in this case, the element of fire in its origin is dark, it's black.
It's devoid of oxygen, right? It's black.
Yes.
Pure fire is black.
Yes. Yes.
What makes it red or blue is the oxygen.
The oxygen. It's impure. It's impurity.
No, your fire.
No, it's again in its element. In its element. For example.
We talked about in the table.
Yes. Yes. So Heveaz kanamia, vekal kanesher, veratz katsevi, vegibor kaari. We say it every morning, right? Before the Kaddish of Hodu.
Yehuda Tema.
Huh?
Yehuda ben Tema.
Yehuda ben Tema omer. Yes. Ve'az, azut, right? Kanamer. The Mefarshim say you should have the fire, right? Of the like the namer. The azut is the fire. What is fire?
Fire of what?
Of the namer. The namer is the leopard.
Yeah.
The leopard has this instinct to go fast and to like the fire. The fire, the Sefer HaYetzirah explains, goes all the way, always up. It doesn't have a shape, right? And it represents it represents the spirituality, this motivation to always go forward and always elevate things, just like the fire does. Yeah. Ve'az kanamer. Ve'kal, and be light, kanesher, like the eagle. What is light? The wind. Right?
Yeah.
The eagle can stay up in the air without moving, without flapping its wings, and it stays very high. It's very, very, very light. So, and that represents the ruach. That represents the spirit of that sits in between the fire and the water that's under it. Yeah, it's the ability. The ruach has in it water, and it has also in it fire. Because the ruach, when you take water and you heat it, it becomes steam. It becomes air, right? It becomes air. And if you take the air and you make it cold, it becomes water.
Mm-hmm.
And the ruach says that the Sefer Yetzirah sits in between the two exactly, because it has the ability to relate to both of them, and it's the ruach that creates harmony between these two opposites. The fire being hot and the water by nature being cold. The water represents the consolidation, grounding of things, right? Crystallization of things. It's when you bring practicality and reality to ideas and thoughts and potential spiritual highs, ideas that float. Good. And then you have the earth, which is the heaviness. Okay. Gibor Ka'ari. The Gibor Ka'ari is solid. You have to be solid and strong, like the Aryeh, which is essentially the earth. The earth is something that doesn't move. It has a shape. It's steady, right? And it's a basis for everything, essentially, right? Good.
Why is this fire dark? What's the significance of that?
Because it's pure. You don't have any, like Maurice said, yes. The only reason you have a color to the fire is because of its impurity, that it in the air, or where it's yearning its source from, its power from, right? Now we touched about it in the past, that there's different types of fire, right? The esh shechora and esh levana, esh aduma, ve esh kchula, right?
Yeah.
And we said that the Torah is esh shora, black fire on white fire.
Huh?
The Torah was written esh shechora al gabe esh levana, black fire on white fire, which means that what? That white fire is the canvas. White fire is what allows something to exist. If you don't have the white fire, if you don't have the cloth, if you don't have the parchment, the letters cannot hold. The letters don't have any makom, they don't have any place, and they don't have any purpose anymore. So the only reason the black fire exists is because of the white fire in it, right? So essentially, what is the black fire?
Does it have to be in it or
on it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So in this case, what is the definition of the black fire? What is it? It's the letters.
The letters of the Torah.
The letters.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what. So the fire here is the letters that are sitting on top of the creation.
The letters that are sitting on top of the creation.
The black fire
Yeah.
is just that represent the letters, right? Like the black fire on the white fire.
Yeah.
They're sitting on top of everything else, right? They're sitting on top of the earth, the water, and the wind.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
They sit on top of it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's referring to the black fire. That's what the black fire means. Now, why Akadosh Baruch Hu use that? You say?
Yeah, why?
And not
why
what? If it was blue, you would have said, why is it blue?
Well, just because, I mean, I think,
באמת. No. What do you want to say?
well, I mean,
We're not used to
Black,
black
black,
fire.
first of all, the fire that we know is not black, so that's obviously it's counterintuitive.
Correct.
But also you look at the sky, right? The sky is black, but it's freezing cold. It's not hot like fire. We
נכון.
associate darkness with nighttime cold.
נכון.
So why is this fire associated
fire
with
what?
darkness?
I know, but
Fire
it's-
hot?
Is fire hot? Is black fire hot?
This I didn't say.
For us?
I said the essence of fire. That okay is the Sefer Yetzirah is something that's hot and something that burns and something that elevates. That's what fire is. Fire elevates. Okay,
Burns.
it goes up. Huh? No, the way we know fire. Yeah, but the black fire, I never said it's black. It's hot.
Well, if water mixes with fire and it goes steam, like you said before,
Then
it has to be hot.
Yes, but
That's dot, by the way.
correct.
Or bina.
That's
That's bina. That's
Bina,
bina. Okay.
Trying to put it all together, you know? It's not easy.
So I'll get back to you on you want to ask why what is your shela? Is your shela what is the black fire, or is your shela why he used the black fire? Or both?
Both, I guess, but more the second one, because it's strange. It's strange that the fire is such an important part of our lives and everything. And the introduction of fire is something that's the exact opposite of what we normally know as fire. It's a strange introduction of fire to say, whatever you think of fire, like this is the opposite in many ways.
Why the opposite? Tell me. Because of its color?
it's only the color.
Yeah, maybe it's just the color. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, okay? And you just reminded me something. A gown. What is the color of the of anything that the fire consumes?
Black.
Black,
Mm.
because that's its true essence.
Mm. Mm.
You will never find anything else but black, because its true essence is black. So, and that's its mark. That's what is left behind. That's the Gaon. The Gaon says that.
The question, it's a question, it's an interesting.
How do you
point,
answer
but-
that?
But because the question is, then you can't really, I guess it doesn't really matter, but you can't mabdid at the fire, right? You can't see.
So the
whole point of
Zohar,
fire-
the Zohar says you can.
Okay.
For example, on Hanukkah, there's two layers of fire that you can see. There's the blue and the white. But beside, there's another two layers of fire that you cannot see in the orot of
red
the
and black?
yes.
But
The red being Midat Adin Kasha. Yeah.
isn't the whole point of the.
And the black
fire-
being the source, the root of all the fire.
Isn't the whole point of the fire, is the.
You should answer that. Black has no color. That's why. You're always in black. You should explain why you should explain why it's black. Because black
I can probably explain this more than I can explain this, but okay. No, but the question on the fire is that the whole purpose of the fire, or what's the purpose? Why do we light candles? What's the purpose? You have isn't right there's something about
fire has two
pushing away the dark.
there's two things. Fire can consume and destroy, or fire can bring light and warm up. So the fire.
We just learned something about this. I don't want to be wait about this thing.
Let's stay on point.
No, because this was a good point. Hold on, I remember in a second. Remember, there was something about the fact that the fire eats something, and then it becomes that. I don't remember where that was. I don't remember in a second. No, we learned that in the Chanukah.
In
When
Hanukkah.
you gave me the shul of the Chanukah, that the fire that it consumes something.
Consumes the oil.
Yes, right. But we talked about. I don't remember how we got. Okay.
So that's
We'll do a show about black fire.
Okay, but going back to the thing, so essentially, its true color and its true root, it's black, and the mekor and the proof to it is that when it consumes something, it always becomes black, because it turned it into the closest to it. So it absorbs, yes, it absorbs everything and leaves whatever it cannot consume, right?
Except for metals, right? Metals get like white hot, right? If you're like smelting.
Afterwards.
I don't know if they get black. If you melt gold, it doesn't get black.
When you consume it, well, not when you melt it, when you consume, when the fire comes and consumes something, let's say at a level where it burns out the metal, right? What is left is all black. So that's we can always have you can prepare a shoe on okay. That's the choshech. So here says the Ramban, the Torah introduces the 4 elements, right? In a form of, it was a hiyuli, that's the tohu, right? Vavohu, and bohu, it has a structure in it. And what is that structure? The structure of the 4 elements. And then, Vayomer Elohim pasuk gimel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, right? Elohim says, he says, what does it mean Vayomer? The Amira. Amira, he said there's 2, he gave 2, he proposed 2 options. Yeah. One, which is his will, right? His chefetz, that's what he desired. And desiring, meaning that's what he wanted without too much analysis to it. You don't have access to the chokhmah behind it. This is kachala b'machshava sheli. Like there's a layer of chokhmah that we know is there, but we don't have access to. For example, there's 3 layers of chokhmah. There's the chokhmah that we know is there, we don't have access to. There is the chokhmah of the tzaddikim, of only people that really focus on it and invest themselves into it, can tap into. And then there is a lower chokhmah, which is a chokhmah that's hand over to everybody, that everybody can tap into, right? The chefetz, this is why we will. Meaning, if you understand that Vayomer is, this is what I wanted, it's referring to the chokhmah that we know is there, but we don't have access to. For example, when it's Gemara in Masechet Menachot of Kaftet Amud Bet, Moshe Rabbeinu ala marom, he went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And he saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was putting crowns on letters.
When is this?
When Moshe went to get the Torah,
okay,
he saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was putting crowns on the letters. So he asked him, he says, what are these? He said, if you want to understand, go backwards 8 rows and sit. We're not going to go into the secrets of what that means.
8 rows.
8 rows. He was in the front row. He said, no, go in the 8th row and sit and you'll understand. And he saw that Rabbi Akiva was teaching halachot on these crowns. And he was saying, oh, you see this crown on that letter, on that word? This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to say. Moshe Rabbeinu says the Gemara didn't understand anything. He was lost. He started becoming sad and depressed. Until Rabbi Akiva was asked a question, and he says, Halacha le Moshe miSinai. This I cannot answer you. This is halacha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from that Moshe received. He was appeased that at least he's related to something. So Moshe asked Rabbi Akiva, you have a man like this, where do you take me? Moshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers Moshe, Kach ala b'machshavti. This is my choice. Meaning, you don't have access to why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did that. There is a reason behind. There's a machshava.
It's his will.
But that's my will. Okay? Meaning there is a chokhmah to it, but you don't have access to it.
Don't ask questions.
Correct. But don't ask questions doesn't mean there's no answers.
I got it.
I don't reveal the answer to the question. Right? Good. So that's level one. So if Vayomer, so that according to the first shot of the Ramban of Vayomer, which means he will, it will, but without access to the knowledge behind it.
Okay.
But according to the second pshat that the Ramban wants to say, which is machshava, Vayomer is, this is what he thought to do, meaning he thought about it, and what the Ramban says, he went through an analysis, through a thought process that went through all the possible versions and variations of what he's about to create, and that's Vayomer. Meaning what? He exposed to us a science and an access to all the knowledge that he wanted to give access to of that specific creation.
But it's still the same idea that this is what I want. One, you have access to the backup, and one you don't have access.
Okay, but it's a major difference.
So we understand.
Yes, that's the difference. That's the difference. So Vayomer Elohim, and he says Yehi. He says, what does it mean, Yehi? Yehi is the consolidation, right, of what he wants to create. The crystallization of that machshava.
Regardless of which version we're taking, with or without.
No, regardless.
But does he have a conclusion on this? Which version?
No, he just addresses that there's both. It could be like this, or it could be like that. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay? Yes. Umilat havaya more al maaseh hazman ha'omed. Something that is consolidated, right? Something that is happening, that is realizing itself. So he says, Yehi or, there should be light. Okay? Vayhi or, and he's going to go into the concept of or in a little bit, right? Vayhi or, and there was light. And says the Rambam, why does he say and there was light? Why does it say there was light and not Vayhi chen like everywhere else? Because when he says Vayhi chen and it was, and so it was forever.
Yeah. Here you take it.
Here, the Kadosh Baruch Hu created a light that will not last forever.
But then he said Vahi or at the end of the sentence.
That's right. And it was light for the moment.
But he took it away.
For the moment, he hit it. We all understand what yes, he hit it, which is the organos, etc. But there's a pshat to it, and there's right. So Vahior and light was, meaning what? That this creation of that version of the light that was created now was for how long? He says it will be only for 3
When he
days.
says Vayomer Elohim Yehi or,
Yes.
forget about the last two words.
Yes.
Was the light created then?
Yes.
In the present tense.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't.
Because he manifested it in one of the two ways.
Correct.
That Ramban
Correct.
explained.
He willed it, or he thought about it. Yes.
Isn't there a concept?
Then why do you have to say Vahior after that?
Okay, parce que Vayichen is now it's good and it's good forever. It's stamped.
Right.
There's
It says Vahior.
Exactly, because there will be a transfer, there will be a transformation of that light. That light that was created will not be the end product that will stay forever.
The question is, why was there a need to say anything?
What do you mean?
No, but it is. Sorry.
No. Let's close the sentence.
No.
Let's all go home and enjoy sushi.
Sorry. So she's okay. The question is, why did he have to say?
If he didn't say anything,
if it says
it's inconsistent.
Then nothing's created.
Yehio.
Yeah.
Period.
And there should be. Was there or there wasn't?
Oh, Vahi. Okay, right. Vahi. Sorry, right. So no, but I'm sorry.
No, but
Boris
I
asked
asked,
the question.
Yeah.
No, he asked the question that now I understand the question. Is the Vayehiol?
That's his will.
When was the light created? At the Vayehiol or Yehi, the first Yehiol, or at the Vayehiol? Is that you heal his will and then by heal
Yes,
the
I understand
creation?
your question.
That was my question.
That's what now.
I understand your question. You're saying in the word Yehi Or, well, according to the
Said
Ramban,
Vayomer Elohim.
Yehi
So-
Or, yes, that no. So Vayomer Elohim, okay, God said willed. What did he will?
That there be light.
To be light. Okay? Vayhi Or, and the light was.
Right, so the question is if I say, like the clap on, right? You know the clap on? I clapped on and then the light turns on. The question is, did he say Vayehi O and then the light was created? Or where it says
מילת הוויה מורה על מעשה הזמן העומד. ואתה הווה להם, ולכן אמר הכתוב, כי כשברא חומר השמיים, אמר שיהיה מן החומר ההוא דבר מזהיר, אוקיי?
right?
וקראו אור. So in the word Yehi, there was a creation. Or,
Okay. Yeah.
so yes, so Vayomer Elohim, God says, Yehi Or, what was his machshava? The creation of the light.
Right.
Okay, so at that moment, yes, at that moment says the Ramban, when the Havaya, in the Milat Havaya and the Yehi, the light was created. So now comes your question.
Then why Vahi Or?
Vahi Or, to tell you that it won't last forever.
Uh-huh.
Now, and so what's your question now? What do you need to say Vahi Or at all? Just yes.
Yeah.
So the answer to why you say Vahi Or, because at the end it says Vahi Chen, that this is what lasted forever. So to tell you that it didn't last forever, it says Vahi Or.
To juxtapose.
That's what he says. לא אמר ויהי chen כאמור בשאר הימים. In every other days he says ויהי chen. And in this time he did not say that. לפי שלא עמד האור כתכונה הזאת כל הימים. Because he didn't say in its form, okay, for the rest of time. כשאר מעשה בראשית, like the rest of creation. Okay? Meaning you would not have known what happened to that light moving forward, right? If you didn't say Vayihi Or.
Okay. On the Vayomer, there's a concept that everything was created in the Tzuruf Otiyot, right? The
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So is that a different explanation of what Vayomer means?
No, why?
So,
Well, the machshava is the peula of the tziruf ha'otiyot.
המחשבה של הוויאמר. In the Vayomer,
When he says vayomer, whether it's machshava or chefetz, it's vadai velo vayomer. He didn't say.
Right.
Why does he say that? He gives this pirushim because for sure he didn't say.
Right.
God doesn't talk. And if he said, to who did he say? Who was there to talk to? There was nobody.
himself, I don't know.
It's schizophrenic. It's like that. Vayomer. So that's what bothers the Ramban. So and all the Mefarshim. So Vayomer, for sure he didn't say, unless except for those that say that the Malachim were created. But okay.
Malachim were
Created on the Yom Sheni. He says that according to the Ramban, they created on the second day.
That's why Vayomed means he's willing, he's thinking.
Correct, and not he's saying.
Right.
Correct, and that's the tziruf ha'otiyot. To what? To Yehi Or. When you think about something, you need chomer to think about. If not, you're not thinking.
I get it.
Right? You need information to think about the information. If not, yeah.
I'm curious that there's a father's thing. If this whole story was written in such a basic way for us to even understand, to try to tap into what happened, because these explanations are obviously at a level. Is the reason that it's written, the Torah is written, because there's a question, the story is it's the easiest thing to understand. My son learns this, right? God made light, God made. So the question is was the Torah written in a way that it can be addressed
To everybody,
to
at every
level,
to every level.
to every level,
Nachon.
and
It's not a chokhmah to write it in a super complex way that only the super intellectuals can understand. The chokhmah is to take something super complex and bring it to the simplest form for everybody to understand.
because if you think about it, this is basic.
Nachon. But it's not.
It's an interesting question. Why is this interpreted so simply by elementary school teachers and even high school teachers? Because we don't have the capacity to understand?
Maybe because at this age, the boys are not interested. Number one, maybe they don't have the capacity, and to expect such an intellectual level of the teachers is also maybe too much asking.
Think so.
But when you look at the Rashi explanations, and most of these things are also very basic.
They're not basic.
Well,
When you read it, it sounds basic.
even the Rashi, you have explanations when you look.
Rashi tells you many times, he's like, hey, we have to use the Midrash. What does that mean? There's no pshat in this. I have to use the Midrash. So it's not simple at all.
But I'm saying, if you look at Rashi as a whole, I don't know what it is, call it 70%, 60%.
Oh, yes.
80% is simple. I mean, it's something that
It's simple after Rashi dedicated his entire life to give you a simple pshat. Rashi was writing the pshat and then rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it until we got the version that we got. But he didn't sit and write this pirush at the first time.
So
Yes, it was a continuous and ongoing job until the end of his life. Until he finally was comfortable that he wrote the with that and one extra word.
With Ruach HaKodesh?
I was just about to ask that.
For sure.
So if it's Ruach HaKodesh, I was just about to
Has
ask.
to be.
If it's from Ruach HaKodesh,
Why didn't it come the first time?
Because
Ruach HaKodesh is a schut. You elevate yourself and you tap into a chokhmah, and then you elevate yourself and you tap into a higher chokhmah, and a higher chokhmah. That's what it's about, right? It's not a stagnant. It's not a universal thing that everybody has and you have it or you don't. Okay. So Yehi also to refine what we said. Vayomer, he felt or he thought God and Yehi and he created the light, and Vayi on the light. This specific light was Vayar el pasuk dalet. Vayar Elohim et haor kitov. The re'iyah here he says what? It's ra'a oto kitovu. Ken?
It goes into the Kabbalah.
Yes, one second. This is one second. עושים את האור, כן ואין דברי נכונים, יהי אור והיה אור, ראה אותו כי טובו, ולכן הבדיל בינו ובין החושך, כעניין אדם שלא ידע טיבו, אוקיי, רק שנייה, אבל, והעניין להורות, והעניין להורות על עמידתם בחפצו, ואם החפץ יתפרד רגע מהם, יהיה לעין. That's the ראייה. He saw, meaning he willed it this specific way, and he wanted to stay like that forever.
The or.
Yes.
But he's saying Vayira is what? Is also will?
Vayar Elohim. He saw. To see is to see something, right? And want it to that specific way. You look at it and you're satisfied with what you've looked and what it is before you. It was made the way he wants. And if his will stops, they disappears. So his re'iyah is his continuous will for that specific thing to exist.
But I'm sorry, isn't that how everything is continuing to exist? It's not only you. We're talking about the recreation of every moment.
That's why he says Vayar Hashem Kitov, Vayar Hashem Kitov, Vayar Hashem Kitov, Vayar Hashem Kitov. That's why you'll have it in every day. Vayar Hashem Kitov, and he saw.
Okay, so
here he says that's the re'iyah. Vayar Elokim et kol asher asa v'hine tov meod. Right. Sheratza b'kiyumo la'ad. That he wants this to stay forever.
And this is the or that's now the Oreganus.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second. At that point, he's looking at the light. Vayar Elohim et haor kitov. Okay.
But the or that
Vayavdel.
No.
Vayavdel Elohim ben haor uben hachoshech. Okay. So Vayar is what we just said, his will to want this to exist, okay, the way it was created. Et haor, the light, kitov, that is good, right? Et haor, הנה. He says, okay, והוסיף בכאן את האור,
There's 34.
שאילו אמר סתם וירא אלוהים כי טוב, because if he would have said it saw that it's good, היה חוזר על בריאת השמיים והארץ, right? So why it mean what is good? Everything that has been created until now. ולא גזר בהם עדיין הקיום, but he hasn't finalized the process yet with the שמיים והארץ. It's still an ongoing process that will take 6 days, right? So he cannot say וירא השם כי טוב, he saw that it's good. Because if you say he saw that it's good, it's going back on everything that has been created. אבל מן החומר כי לא עמדו ככה, אבל מן החומר הנברא בראשון, because it's still in an ongoing process from the היולי moving forward. And he explains that what happened on the first day, on the second day, etc. ואז גזר בהם כי הוא אמר וירא אלוהים כי טוב, right? And then he will say וירא השם אלוהים כי טוב. So when the pasuk says וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב, right? He's coming to say that the creation of the light was satisfying, and this is what he wanted. The rest is an ongoing process. So the light stopped.
Like you're trying to address why they just work there. It's very cool.
Why it says et haor.
Et haor and not kitov. The whole
Vayar Elohim kitov.
right.
That's
because
right.
If
he says Vayar Elohim kitov, it goes back on everything that has happened.
Right. He doesn't want to say kitov. He doesn't want to seal what he did so far
because it's ongoing. It's still ongoing.
That's clear. But the question, Mechila, but the question is Vayar et haor. Are we
that same light that he created
from the pasuk before?
Yes.
And that
Vayavdel, that's all the light. There's not the Angelus. It's all the light. It will be gonez. It will be gonez.
But all the light that
in its creation. Vayavdel Elohim ben haor uben hachoshech. And now he says what?
34.
Okay.
Yeah.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu separates now between the light and between darkness. At that specific moment that he's separating, right? Now he creates what is called the darkness, which is the emptiness of the light. At this moment, right? He's relating the darkness to the light that we know.
Yeah, but the next sentence differentiates between day and night.
That's time. It's different.
Yeah. So
right now with darkness and no, we're talking darkness and light.
Is this darkness relating to the or?
To this or
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So we're not yet on time yet.
Not yet on time.
But when so he's this still refers to the all that.
No. At that point, when he says ben haor ben hachoshech, at that point is referring to the light that we know. Because the or ganuz it will be ganuz.
So when did he take it? When did
he did? Right. It's all one. He will separate some of that light.
When? In which sequence here?
When it comes, you wait and
so it's not yet.
Right now he's referring to the or that we know, and in order to create a place for that or, right, he created also the choshech. Which choshech was created? The choshech that is created now is the emptiness of the light that we know.
And how did he create that? He removed it.
He removed it. Vayavdel, איננו החושך הנזכר בראשון. It's not the חושך that we're talking from the black light, שהוא האש, that the black fire. אבל הוא אפיסת האור. How was that created?
What's afisat?
Afisat is the emptiness of the light, right? The emptiness is the efes. Right.
So he took the or away.
He limited it.
He limited it.
By limiting the light, right?
You create darkness.
He created the darkness. He took the light. He said the light has to be in that space, that's the dimension. That's the limitation of the light, right? Now, if they are in a specific space, and he removes that light, now there's choshech. That is exactly in the same space the light was right before that. Yeah. So the choshech essentially only exists because there's no more light. So wherever the light can be, there could be choshech. The moment, right?
Yeah, and he says,
It's in note 77. It's easier.
no, I'm reading, I can't know. חושך, they just say, חושך, איננו החושך הנזכר בסוג ראשון שהוא האש.
Yeah.
Saying the first one is the black fire, right? And this.
That's the first choshech.
Right,
That's
that's
not what
what
we're
I'm
talking about.
אבל זו, הוא אפיסת האור, כי נתן להם מידה לאור.
כן.
Okay, that's move further.
Now he comes and he explains. So 1 second. So now there's a transition between the first light that we're talking about that was created and this light. Something happened at this moment. So he gives two explanations. ייתכן שנאמר כי האור נברא לפניו יתברך ולא נתפשט ביסודות הנזכרים. I mean, the light was created. Yeah.
Really? 35.
He's coming to explain what does that mean. How did the creation of the light happen? Okay, with the choshech, and he's rejecting the opinion of those who held that God created the day, right? And then he shut it down, the light, and shut it down, and then the cycle started. And he said, if that's the case, then you have a day and a half, right? So he wants to
Excessively.
right. So he's rejecting that. So he's saying like this: is that God created the light, okay, that shined but didn't shine on the creation. He just created the light, okay, and then he let the night go, the darkness go, because by creating the light, darkness was created, right?
Yeah.
So he let the darkness take its course for a period of time, and then he applied the light, and that's how you have a full day.
Sorry, but at that point, it doesn't say that he created the day yet.
We're not talking. Yes, and right after that, right now it's the cycle of darkness and light. הנה, ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך, right? He separated the two. What happened when he separated the two? Was there half a day in that separation or no? That's what he's coming to say. He said there was no separation. He created the light. The light was created, and then the light did not shine on the creation, on the elements. Okay, it was not applied. It was created, but it was not applied.
So there's no half day.
There's no half day.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how he solved that issue. That's how he solves that issue.
He's saying that the day started after the separation, basically.
When he says correct, absolutely
That's
correct.
the
Correct.
simple version of it.
כן, כי האור נברא לפניו יתברך ולא נתפשט ביסודות הנזכרים. So it was created, but it was not shining. It was not applied. והבדיל בינו ובין החושך. And he separated, שנתן לשניהם מידה, right? So he gave light limitations, and by default, also when he moved that light, he gave choshech definition, darkness definition, ועמד לפניו כמידת הלילה. ואחר כך הזריח אותו על יסודות. And he used that darkness as what will be called Laila, and then he will allow the light that was created and put aside to start shining. Okay? All right. Say that. That's one explanation. Another thing is that he wants to say, the second explanation, from the beginning of the creation of Shamayim ve'aretz and the Hiyuli, etc., etc., that we see in the first pasuk. Niyazman, right? Because if we've said if you have physicality, if you right, and space, then you have time. Even though that the cycle of time was not defined yet, because that the cycle of time will be referred to day and night. But since there is a yesh, since there is something, if there is something, there's movement and space, so there's time. So he wants to say, so during the period of the creation of Shamayim Va'aretz, all the way, that was the night. That's Vahi Erev. That's what he's going to call Vahi Erev. And then he creates the light, and then he applies now the light onto the creation for a period of time, right? Now we've deal ben ha'or ben ha'choshech, and that's so that period of choshech, he called it night. Then the application of the light during that period of time, he will call it day.
But where is that's clear, which is very easy to understand. Where is the keter of deal? Where did he do the Avdalah? Because if he first created the first Vayhi, blah, 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 that whole...
the Avdalah is that he did not allow the light to shine.
He separated the light, put the darkness,
No.
right?
So no,
And
Not
then,
according to the second
and then he let the darkness
No, but-
take root,
yes.
and then the light.
No,
hit the
but
root.
hold on. But in the second explanation, he's saying
read, ואם כן, נבראו שמיים וארץ ועמדו כן במידת לילה.
I'm with you.
מבלי אור. ואמר יהי אור. That's before the creation of the light. Right?
Yes.
It was the midah of Laila.
Pasuk bet is in the Laila. Pasuk bet.
Yes, it's Laila. It's Laila. It's not Choshech, it's Laila.
Nighttime.
ואמר יהי אור ויהי אור, וגזר עליו שיעמוד כמידת הראשון. ואחר כך יעדר מן היסודות, ויהי ערב ובוקר. So he said, now he creates the light, right?
And that's day.
I'm sorry?
And that's that by he
Before the application of the day. He takes the Choshech and applies it to the dark, to what had the Laila that had happened without the time of Laila, without the light. Then the light was created, and he applied the light moving forward.
It's not the same light. Is it the same light?
What do you mean it's not the same? Until now we're talking about
No.
No. I'm talking about creating the day,
No, but there's something that doesn't add up.
Why is that?
If he creates the whole thing,
Do you understand that from the beginning of creation until now, there's no light, and
Yes.
it can be considered Laila,
that's what
even
I'm
though
saying.
there's no Choshech?
Okay, so I'm saying pasuk bet that's all in the Laila.
Yes,
Okay,
but at that point there's no Choshech because there's no light.
There's only something.
Yeah, said there.
Time started because there was a creation of something.
I understand.
So,
But
but
creation-
Laila is time, is referred to time.
That means it's night, right?
Night,
Night comes first.
not darkness. Night.
Okay, I got
Very
it.
good. Okay.
Va'amer Elohim Eyo Ba'il.
Yes.
At that point, did the day start or not yet?
No, the day had started already.
No, the morning.
No,
Yom. He's
Yom.
asking Yom.
the Od, the first Od.
Yes, by Yehi Or, then the day starts.
Then
I thought the first
the
Od that
Boker,
was
sorry, no.
created,
sorry, the Boker. This is Erev. First, you're saying first it's Erev, right?
Yes.
You're saying in the beginning when all the Hilulim.
That's Vayerev.
That's then you have the Erev,
Yes.
and then when he did Yehi is that the
That's Boker.
That's Boker.
That's Boker.
clear.
That's Boker.
That-
And then but when he created the light, the Choshech was created, and he applied the Choshech to the Erev. You understand? So meaning that according to that shot, the first Erev, there was no Choshech.
right.
It will be Choshech will be applied to Erev.
You accept this last piece of it. That's the most straightforward explanation. That's what the kids learn. Right? There was darkness, and then there was light, and then
I think
That's-
this is very complicated.
It is complicated.
Okay, I don't find it easy. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
I think this is an easier version. than
When
the
you
first
say Yehi-od, Vayhi-od,
yes.
that's not the daytime. Isn't
It's
that?
light. It's
Isn't
light.
that the special light?
It's
that-
in it also. It's in it also. It's in it.
Oh, it's a
Also.
combo.
It's in it also because we're going to see in later on. He will take the spiritual aspect of it and he's going to be good as it, and he's going to consolidate now.
I didn't know it was a combination of.
And he's going to consolidate now that the light that we know as the meorot, as the sun and as the moon.
I thought the first light was really just a spiritual light that he did not want to allow out because
It's still
of the
yes, it's in it.
it's
Right,
within the
it's-
same light.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Isn't that the light in the center of the circle? Who showed us? That comes down in the center of the circle.
That's the organus that you connect to.
Right. Good.
That's what you tap into. Yes. We're good.
Yeah, by the way, this would be the pshat that you read if you read this. To say, because before we have Vayi Or, we have Choshech already. Choshech al home. But the Ramban is saying that's not real Choshech, that's a different Choshech.
Right, that's the
So
element.
now I have to explain, well then how was it by Erev first? It's because it was an Erev without Choshech.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I'm saying. If you
Yeah.
read it,
That's
what I
right.
was saying before, when it's simple, the words as we know it, it says Choshech. You have the first.
Yeah, but that's not the first shot. That's the second. That's the second shot. That's the first shot.
No, the second shot now, when he says that at the beginning there was
Erev.
Erev and
Right.
Chazayom, because we associate.
You say the Choshech to Erev, right?
I'm saying you associate.
Yes.
That's exactly saying the same thing. That if you associate the Choshech to Erev, it's already written. Then by Hio, we associate it with day, and
Nachon.
simple.
Nachon. The Choshech, but the Choshech doesn't add up because there's no or. So how can there be darkness if there's no light? You understand? So you cannot. This cannot be.
You could say again.
Yeah, it makes sense to Peshat,
No.
but it's not right.
Sorry, you could
You can't-
say.
Yes.
Sorry, you could say.
Yeah. Why is it Choshech? There's no light. So there's if you understand and everybody understands that darkness is emptiness of light. We all agree to that. So what does? How can there be? Later on,
Because you could say that Kadosh Baruch Hu created the Choshech.
but he
after
doesn't
that-
say that.
After that, he put the light into the Choshech. It's not what anybody's saying here, but
No,
we
that's
don't
not-
understand the explanation.
that's
It
not-
could be,
that's
why
not-
couldn't he have created the Choshech and then infused it with light, which is really the sequence. of
Because if
this?
that's the case, Choshech is an essence without light.
Okay, and what's the issue with that? Why is Choshech is in essence without light?
No, it's not.
What was the Choshech then?
Huh?
What-
Right, exactly. I don't know. Then what is it? So the default is Choshech, and thus you bring some light. That's how you understand it. But default is all black.
Oh, wait, there's a lot of, if you take that to a spiritual.
I understand. I hear what
Could
you're
be.
saying. I hear what you're
There's
saying.
A lot of,
Is that what I'm saying?
there's a lot of logic with that from a spiritual level, because
The
our
opposite.
whole.
The opposite because the opposite.
You're not saying that that's what exists. You're saying Hashem could have created it in such a way.
I'm saying, if you read this pasuk, he created the.
Yeah, the pshat is like there's Choshech. There's Choshech.
Hashem created Choshech, and after that he created light, and he saw that it was good,
Right.
and he injected the light into the Choshech, and then he created Yom.
Yeah, but it
Yom.
doesn't say that he created the Choshech. The Choshech was there.
No, I'm sorry.
But I hear
It
what you're
says-
saying.
It says Laoka Vayikra Elohim Laor Yom, right? V'lachoshech kara layla. So it's in the it's and it's actually, if you want to go even further, the sequence of the words is also like that, right? Because first you have Choshech, then you have O, and then he talks about the O and then the Choshech, right? So, for the kids, you could say that he created the Choshech, then you infuse it with the light. Then he says that he what was there was Yom, so he says that's Yom, and after that there was Laila Kara Laila.
Yeah.
The Choshech back then was fire.
Okay,
No, he's
this is
saying,
the
he's, saying,
Ramban.
he's saying without the Ramban.
I'm saying take the Ramban out.
No.
No, take the Ramban out of this. If you try to read the sentence, there's a sequence that actually logically makes
That's
sense.
how we all learned it when we were kids.
No, we learned different. But I'm saying if you take the essence of what the Ramban is saying. In his second explanation, you just read the words. There's actually tremendous amount of logic to this, no?
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. But even to the second chapter of the Ramban, that's only that's another. He has a long. Okay. Okay. Boker Yom Echad, right? He says he calls the night Erev. Why? Shit'arvu bo atzurot, right? Lashon irvuv, a mix.
Where is? What page? 36?
Yeah, yes, so 37. No, I'm saying Vayerev Vayiboker, right? So the Milashon Ervuv. And the Boker is called, the day is called Boker, okay, with Boker. Milashon Levaker, Sheyevaker Adam Benotam, to clarify and understand and distinguish and say, right? Identify.
Who's Rabbi Avraham?
That's Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So you say Levaker is to visit or to criticize?
No, not be correct. Levaker is not also to distinguish, to determine.
Levaker, determine.
It says on the note 89b, it can also mean to examine or to distinguish.
Distinguish, yes.
Can you read this
Okay.
again? I'm not following. Can we start with the Ramban again?
Yeah, so he brings first
Yeah.
Haya Erev ve'haya Boker shel Yom Echad. There was an evening and there was a morning of the first day. Haya. Yeah. Ve'ikare tehilat halayla. The beginning of the night is called Erev. Why? Because the images start to get mixed and confused.
Which images?
Anything you see starts getting confused at night.
It's dark.
When it gets dark. But in the beginning of the day, you can differentiate between the two. Right? In the morning, you can differentiate between things, and in the evening, you mix between the two. So Erev milashon erbuv, and
explaining
why it's the Torah calls it
right. The word
Boker,
why is it called Erev?
Erev, meaning it's referring to the beginning of that period of time, right? The beginning of the night and the beginning of the day. Kach Piresh Rabbi Avraham. That's the Pirush of Rabbi Avraham. Al derech hapshat, right? The derech hapshat. Lo yitachen lomar Yom Rishon, right? Now he says, why doesn't it say Yom Echad? He says it should say Yom Rishon. Because there's no two. There's only first if there's a second, right? You should have said it was the first day. You cannot say it was the first day because you can only say it was the first day if there's a second already. And then it's first compared to the second. So that's why he says Echad, one. Because one holds without two.
Interesting. You got that?
Yeah.
כי הראשון קודם לשני במניין ובמעלה. אבל בשניהם נמצאים, האחד לא יורה על השני. You can have אחד without two. כן? ויש מפרשים, כי זה רמז לתנועת תנועת הגלגל על פני כל הארץ ב-24 שעות. Some explanation wants to say, that's the Ibn Ezra, right? That what? That בערב ויבוקר יום אחד, הקדוש ברוך הוא made the cycle of 24 hours. He defined the time of a day.
Is he not accepting that either?
No. שכל רגע מהם בוקר במקומות משתנים. וערב במקומות שכנגדם. Every 24 hours, you can find day around the planet, and you can find night around the planet. And it changes all the time. ואם כן ירמוז, לאשר יהיה ברקיע אחריה הינתן המאורות ברקיע השמיים. And it's referring, okay, that means that the astros, the meorot, the sun and the moon, right, have been in place already. That's why he has an issue with that. You understand what he's saying?
So our tefillah in the morning, when we're saying them these morning of the day, which you already
Yom Echad or Yom Rishon.
Okay, and then Yom Echad
Yeah, there's
David means more is because it's more chesed, meaning it's all pointing to the same thing.
that's the yes.
What are you
Yes.
talking about?
The Shir Shel Yom. The
Yeah.
Shir Shel Yom. Now, if you pay attention, the Sfarim say Ayom Yom Echad b'Shabbat, and the Ashkenazim here say Shir Shel Yom B'Yom Rishon b'Shabbat.
Ashkenazim are confused?
No, because if you say Ayom Yom Echad b'Shabbat, if you say today is the first, is the day one of the Shabbat, you cannot say it's Yom Rishon, because you have to refer to the Maasei Bereshit. But if Shir Shel Yom B'Yom, the song that the Levim used to say on the first day of the week, B'Yom Rishon b'Shabbat. Understand? You understand the difference?
Mhm.
That's why the Sepharim say Echad and the Ashkenazim say Rishon. We Moroccans say like the Ashkenazim.
But this the echad that we say
Is the Echad of the Master? Yes, exactly. Good. So what the Ramban says, he said the Ibn Ezra wants to say there's a cycle of 24 hours with the asters going around, right? Is set, right? The Ramban has an issue with that because it cannot be said because the Meorot come later.
Great.
The Meorot come later, right? So that's the Ramban. With this, that gives us a synopsis, right, of what the Ramban, said on the creation of Yom Rishon. So essentially, what was created by Yom Rishon?
Like, a lot of stuff. You got the Keter, all the.
Keter, Chochma, Malchut, Bina, right?
Okay, Kol Yaakov, it says so.
Dalet, the four elements, the four elements, right?
Basically,
That's the Hiyuli and the four elements, and the Or and the Choshech. What?
And
No, and
And-
Kol
and
Yaakov
Erev
says,
Boker.
Ashir Shayu Alevim
Erev-
Al Duchan B'Yom Rishon B'Shabbat Kodesh.
The Kol Yaakov. Yeah, but that's like the Nusach Ashkenaz. Like
Yeah.
that's what the Ashkenazim say. And that was the Moroccans also, we say that. We say that. But the Edut HaMizrach, the Sepharim say
In Abraham, what does it say? You know?
probably Ayom Yom Echad b'Shabbat. Yeah?
And also
Hold-
Chesed.
Hold on.
And Chesed.
Well-
Yom Rishon, yes, Yom Echad is the Chesed. Biduk.
Sorry, there's something that you skipped here. Pasuk Hey. ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום ולחושך קרא לילה
Yeah,
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום אחד.
כן.
So לאור, ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום.
He says Vayikra. Yeah, we skip that passage.
Right.
Wait. There's one Hidush that it says here in the word Vayikra. What does it mean Vayikra? He says usually that who called names? It was Adam Arishon, right? He's the one who called the animals by names, right? In this case, Akadosh Baruch Hu himself called the night Laila, right? And the day, the light, he called it Yom, and darkness called it Laila.
Okay, that's a little problematic here because
And what he meant by what did he meant by the Kri'ah? וכאן היא ההבדלה מוגבלת בהם כשלבשו צורתם, that now that the light, okay, got its structure and its dimension, and darkness got its structure and its dimension, right? It was specific, right? So it called one, he was able to give it a name because now it's specific. It's structured and it has its dimensions. So he called the light, called it Yom, and applied it to time, right? And he called the Choshech Laila and applied it to time.
but sorry, so maybe the Ibn Ezra, no, Ibn Ezra was sick.
I understand.
Maybe what he was correct. Because time was created,
No.
had to be some type
Yes,
of
but
cycle here.
it's not a cycle. Yes.
There has to
They-
be because you have Yom and Laila.
Yeah, but there's no astros yet.
So what's
So
driving
the
Yom
day,
and Laila?
the hours, you have it's set in terms of time, it's set. right? But you don't know how it's broken down.
Sorry, so is this time, are you?
It's still the same 2 hours.
No,
It's
is this
still
a
it's one.
linear
It's,
time and then it's a circular time?
what?
Did he create here?
No, I don't know.
Linear time versus circular time that we go after that?
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I cannot. I don't know because of the way the answers are going
Because
circle.
what
But
you're
the
saying-
time that this is what he means to say is that Hakadosh Baruch Hu did not break down. Okay, you mean the cycle of how the planet turns. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because you have, okay.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that.
Either the
You're
time,
saying
time
the
is
definition
circular.
of time.
Definition
right?
of time is circular.
Ramban is saying he's not defining the time. He's defining the separation of
Yom ki
of
nivra
Yom
hazman.
and Choshech,
He
right?
defined them. He defined them.
וזה מידת יום ומידת לילה.
That's right. He
What does it say?
defined. He said that there will be a defined space and time for the day, for the light, and there will be a defined space and time for darkness, right?
So, okay, so see what it says here in the Perush, maybe whoever wrote this is wrong. When the Torah writes that God-
Where?
down 85, when the Torah, page
85.
36,
What is he going to?
Perush to
יומא כי
85.
נברא הזמן,
Right.
ועשה מידת יום ומידת לילה. כן,
When
the
the Torah-
time was created.
When the
No?
Torah writes that God called the light day, it means that he put into effect a regular cycle of light and darkness,
Yeah.
which correspond with the time periods of day and night.
Yes, that's fine. So what?
Okay.
But what does that have to do with the cycle of the asters and 24 hours?
What is he referring to? What is he referring to the cycle of light and darkness? And
The cycle, meaning there's going to be dark day, dark day, dark day. That's a cycle. It goes back and again and again and again.
So does that mean that at this
Every
time,
day.
before the sun and the moon were created, the entire
Exactly.
world was light for 12
gonna
hours,
ask the same
and then the
question.
entire world was dark for 12 hours?
according to this, yes.
It wasn't you
was
didn't
one
have-
day.
You didn't
But
have
it's not
the thing
12,
where
nobody said it's 12
part of the
hours.
world is light and part is.
But nobody said it's 12 hours either. It
You're
said-
saying did it start circulating?
This
Right,
many,
'cause now-
If it didn't
now-
circulate,
Did it-
there's
where
one
you
as
are, it's night or day. Before the sun was created, was it day everywhere?
yeah, the only one that the Ramban doesn't address that.
Yes, he
But
does. He said before.
That
Yes.
the Ibn Ezra, that
Every-
everywhere there's day, there's
No,
night.
but Ramban said before, maybe in the introduction or somewhere else, we read it, that these 6 days were 6 24-hour days.
Yes, real days.
So it's the real cycle.
No, it could be the cycle in terms of time. But what he's saying was the planet one side all black and one side all light?
no, not according to Ramban, according to Ibn Ezra. Yeah.
Okay, the opposite. According to the Ibn Ezra, it was circular
That means it was light and dark.
at the
depending
same
where
at the
you
same
are.
time,
Correct.
right?
But you
But I think what we're asking here is, was it one place dark and one place dark all the time? The cycle is like in you understand? That's what you're saying?
No, Zach is saying something different. When it says
Right now, at 8 o'clock,
the whole
it's
world's
dark
dark.
everywhere.
The whole Kadur Haaretz is dark.
The whole Kadure.
Yeah, in Yom right.
No. How could it be?
Because that's what it says.
No,
If you
it's
look
not
at the
what it means.
Mo, if you look
According
at
to the Ramban,
Yes.
yes. According to the Ramban, yes.
But that's scientifically not the case.
what's that? It's Bria actually. What's a Bria?
What do you mean?
Scientific.
Hashem was creating the world
Yes.
and the time and the difference differentiating between night and day.
Yes.
What all of a sudden he's just creating the whole world night and the whole world day.
But think about it. If you didn't
There's
press
12
play-
hours of
hold on,
night.
if you
And
didn't
then
press play,
It's creating the whole system of
No, but he didn't put it in place. That's exactly the
if it
point.
didn't start
That's the point of the
turning-
Ramban. The Ramban says when does the system goes into place and everything starts circulating? When the asters are in place, when there's the sun and there's the moon,
in place.
when there's the sun
Oh,
and the moon are created and are put in
so at
place.
this
The
stage
answer
of
is
the
yes.
game, it's not.
You're right. At this point, 12 hours, it's all
No,
light,
no.
and
Who said it's 12 hours either? It doesn't say 12 hours.
because I'll
Because
tell
you
you.
could say that
No,
there's
no,
a
I'll
12
tell you why. Because he says that the dimension, the limitations of Choshech, right, are equal to the limitation of light. Because he created light, and then from the light he created
But you
Choshech.
said that the Yom Echad is 24 hours. If you don't have, if you can say that if you don't have the if you didn't press the play button
Yeah.
and it start
There's no,
moving-
there's no makom to think otherwise.
Why?
There's no makom to think otherwise. Why should it be otherwise?
Said it's the same like.
It's the same thing. He says that the dimension were the same. So if the dimensions are the same in space and in their time, then it's the same thing. If he gave it, he limited the day to 12 hours. So he had to limit to create darkness for 12 hours.
If that's the case, where does it say that he
He limited them. He says we
12
didn't say he doesn't have to say for 12 hours. You're saying that maybe if he made it for 24 hours, so then for 24 hours, and then the darkness has to be 24 hours. That's what the Ramban says.
So there's a question is, then there's some issues with the creation of time, and I guess can time exist if everything's not moving?
But
Right.
essentially, Akadosh Baruch Hu created a cycle before the asters worked on its own. He did. Vayer Vayiboker. There's no asters at this point. You're thinking like the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra says if there's time, then there's cycle, and everything. The whole system is like a watch. The watch is turning.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way that they create a 24-hour. If there's a way
Without
that
the light.
without things moving, just
Well, that you can because things are moving. It's just the sun and the moon don't exist.
Exactly.
But the Huli and all of the elements are still moving. So like things at the atomic level, they vibrate at a certain frequency.
right.
So if you could measure that,
So the clock is.
a certain number of vibrations would add up to a day, whether the sun is there or not. Like the natural physical world.
It's a very.
Evolution.
You know who I'm sure wrote about this? We have to find where is Jonathan Sachs? He was obsessed with the
Oh.
science and I'm gonna find the book.
But, and I don't know if it's a derivative of what you're asking. So when Yehoshua stops the sun in the sky, time keeps moving. It's just the sun, right?
Nachon. It happened also with Yaakov.
Right.
When he got to the Harabait, Hakadosh Baruch Hu made it dark, so it's for him to stay. And what happened?
He made it dark.
Yeah, he shortened the day for him to go to sleep, for him to dream.
Just study this, but yes.
But the time, because did he make the day shorter? Instead of 24 hours, he didn't make it 18 hours? No, it was still 24
How
hours.
did he do that?
That's what we have to have.
So what physically happened? How did he all of a sudden make the
Why
day?
does it have to be physical? If it's a miracle. Because God made a miracle, so he doesn't have to be
So
physical.
he shut down the sun. I mean,
Yeah, for him.
Yeah, but this goes back to time's not dependent on the rotation or on the sun or on anything else. It's a constant.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a switch. He says, now it's day, now it's night, whether things move or don't. This you understand? And he says, okay, so every 12 hours, I'm gonna switch.
I
Where's the
understand
switch?
this concept. We were trying to.
And then he put it on autopilot with the cycle.
We were dealing with this whole other explanation. Okay.
So this brings us to like a little bit of a refreshing.
It's great.
Yeah.
This is great. This is very good.
Be'ezrat Hashem, so bli neder now we can next year start the Rakia Yom Sheni.
To get through one. Oh, it took us half year to get through one day.